Today, we'll be looking at time to SLA and its next-gen features and capabilities in particular. Before start off, I'm pleased to say that I have a co-host today, and I'm joined by Gökçe from our marvelous application support team. In terms of the webinar structure, it's really simple. I will briefly talk about SnapBytes and our products. Then Gökçe will demonstrate next-gen capabilities, which is the main topic of today. Of course, your feedback, your opinion really do matter for us. So there will be Q&A session at the end. So please keep your question at the end and you will have a chance to ask for it. So what about the, after the meeting? By all means, you can get in touch via email, either under@snapbytes.com or gökçe@snapbytes.com. No worries, contact information will be provided later on, all right? So, we have actually jam-packed of agenda today, so let's get into it, shall we? First of all, I want to briefly touch upon SnapBytes and its history. As we can see from the timeline, we set sail 5 years ago with a one-person and crystal clear mission, which is creating beautiful apps to address real-life issues for Atlassian community. And very next year, SnapBytes became silver partner status with Atlassian. In the space of 2 years, in 2018, we became gold partners with Atlassian. Within the same year also, as part of the founders, global and app-centric company vision, our Cambridge office came alive. So another milestone in the history is we became platinum partner in 2019. So last year, cloud version of Time to SLA released, and it's been quite a success so far. So what about this year then? Similarly, cloud version of Enhancer plugin for Jira released just in the matter of 2 weeks. It's quite new. Finally, TTS. Our engineering team has been redesigned, revamped, and overhauled TTS. So after this great deal of effort, next generation Goal. All right. Up to now, we talked about our history, our company, and a little bit about applications. So what we have in our product portfolio in terms of marketplace applications then? So in terms of the marketplace applications, obviously we have two models, right? One is commercial and paid applications, and another one is free apps, free of charge. So in terms of the commercial ones, obviously, the number one is the Time to SLA, which is our brilliant flagship application. It is used for creating your SLAs, managing them, and reporting them from Jira Service Management to Jira Software. It's absolutely brilliant. And the next weapon in the arsenal is Enhancer plugin for Jira. It's like Swiss Army knife. It's really a multi-purpose tool. You can define your custom fields. You can vastly increase your workflow and its business process. You can create beautiful gadgets and insightful reports. And next to Enhancer plugin for Jira, we have Assets and Inventory plugin. So it exactly does what it says on the tin. It is used for creating your assets and tracking them within your Jira estate. So like the commercial applications, we are happy to offer free of charge applications with great deal of quality. For example, Sla Scope is a great example of that. Sla Scope is a visual, the visual aid, visual tracker, so that you can understand who does what and when. You can visually track your issue history without any problem. And next to that, we have easy integration for Jira. It's a nice little application, and it is used for integrating your Jira estate with whether it's internal or external, entities, unless it's using REST and HTTP protocol. And next to that, we have Snap Metrics. And Snap Metrics, by using that, you can create so many insightful KPIs and metrics, such as how many issues are dealt with Team A, Team B, Team C, how number of issues resolved last week, etc. So lastly, we have Comment Enhancer app, which is another cloud application within the portfolio. Obviously, this is just Snapbyte's application in a nutshell. For more information, please head over to snapbytes.com. All right, I know Gökçe will demonstrate the next generation SLA and TTS in a couple of minutes, but let me remind you some key features of the TTS. Yeah, for the next gen, basically we have enhanced configuration, improved performance, and brand new design. So in terms of the enhanced SLA configuration, by that I mean, you can regenerate your entire SLA configuration anytime with ease without any problem. Also, you can pick and choose, mix and match multiple statuses and fields to combine and to create your SLA package. And similarly, you can create multiple goals within a single SLA definition, which practically means you can drastically reduce your amount of SLA definitions, and your Jira admin will love that. And of course, performance. Performance is the key for when it comes to any IT system, any piece of software, and TTS is not the exception. So in terms of the performance, as I briefly mentioned before, our application team, our development team, completely redesigned and revamped our, let's say, core of the engine of the product. So now we have event-based architecture. So which practically means you're going to have up to 400% faster SLA calculations from scratch, both regeneration and new issues. And it also means, you're going to have up to 3 times faster SLA calculations on any issue changes. For example, issue transition from to do to in progress, from in progress to in review, etc. And any comment or any edit in issues. So all in all, with this new platform for new architecture, TTS is really performant when it comes to large and big enterprises that are heavily relying on defining so many SLAs. Yeah, design. Of course, the architecture is the core of the engine of the product. So what about the user experience and the user interface? So it is not an exception in this case. So we created a brand new design, which means it is even more compact, more user-friendly, and you can save your precious time with great user experience. So you might ask yourself, is it the end of the story? No, of course not. This is just the beginning, because our product backlogs, they are full of new ideas, new improvements, full of new features. So it means we're gonna roll out so many cloud applications, and we're gonna deliver more and more features to our customers. So now it's time to see TTS in action. So I'm gonna hand over to Gökçe. Gökçe, it's over to you.
Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me clearly. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I have no way to tell whether or not you can hear me clearly, so I'm just going to assume that everything is fine. So, hello. Oh, perfect. That's reassuring. So, hello again, everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar. And thank you, Andar, for the wonderful introduction. I hope everyone has a better idea about Snapwise and our products and the features that comes with next-gen SLAs. Again, if you have questions during the demo, just leave them in the chat box. We will answer them at the end. So let's jump in the demo part you've been waiting for. So like Önder said, Time to SLA is our flagship product. And over the years, we have released many exciting features such as the live SLA panel, the SLA Search 3.0, and the SLA gadgets. But the next-gen SLA is our biggest launch yet. We wanted to completely change the way that SLAs are configured, the UI, the SLA conditions, and the SLA goals. So we have designed the next-gen SLAs, and we keep the customer feedback and requests in mind. And this is a mostly customer-driven journey for us. So next-gen SLAs is available for Time to SLA 10.0 plus versions. To make things easier, we recommend upgrading to the latest version, which is 10.1.1. So next-gen SLA says beta in the name, but this is not a beta feature. This is fully functional. We put beta in there because we are still adding new features to this, and we are still collecting feedback from our customers. So you are more than welcome to open tickets in our customer portal or email us directly if you want to see additional features in the next-gen SLAs. So when you first upgrade the plugin, this page will be empty, but I have played with it for a bit, defined an SLA. So let's define another SLA together. To define a new SLA, you need to click Add New SLA Definition button right here, and the new menu will appear. So it starts with the SLA name and the Enable Disable button. We didn't touch them. They're exactly same with the legacy SLAs. The old configuration, I'm just going to refer it as the legacy SLAs from this point forward. So we have divided the new SLA configuration page into 3 parts. Basically, the first part is the SLA scope. The second part is the SLA conditions, and the next part is the SLA goals section. And the rest stayed the same, the calculation method, the critical zone, and the asynchronous update. The SLA scope changed a bit. In the legacy SLAs, users need to select the workflow before the SLA configuration, and they need to define, constrain the scope of the SLA using the JQL box towards the bottom of the menu. But we wanted to put them towards the top of the menu to give our users a better experience in terms of the accessibility. Next-gen SLAs, 3 options for the SLA scope: the projects part, the issues part, and the workflow part. You can use all of them, or you can mix and match them, but you need to define at least one of them to save your SLA. For the projects, it's pretty straightforward. All the projects that have been previously defined in your instance will be available here. You can choose any number of them. For the JQuery part, you can enter any JQuery that's acceptable in your instance. We have a little handy checker right here. For instance, issue type equals standard issue types is perfectly acceptable. Also, you can limit your SLA to a particular workflow by selecting the available workflows here. And later you can just change them or delete them or modify the JQuery conditions. This design and this architecture is made this way because we wanted to make things easier for our customers in terms of the scalability. So for the next-gen SLAs, if you want to change the SLA scope, you can do it easily compared to the legacy SLAs. Right now, it's so much easier to widen the scope of the SLAs as your instance or your use cases requires or changes during your business processes. So I'm just going to delete this part, just leave the project time to SLA in my SLA scope. So conditions, let's continue with the conditions. So one of the biggest changes that comes with the next-gen SLAs comes in the SLA conditions. We have changed the UI quite a bit. In the legacy SLAs, you need to separately define reset and pause conditions after the SLA configuration. But right now, you can see all of your SLA conditions, and I mean SLA start and reset and pause conditions in one place. And this is so much easier to manage. So let's define our SLA. So when you click add an SLA condition, a pop-up menu will appear. We have preserved our legacy conditions, namely the status, the command, and the date field is still here with edit options. So for status, we have add further options as enters the selected statuses and leaves the selected statuses. The field values change option, I will come back to this in a minute. The comment option is still here, it's the same. And the date field option is the same as the legacy SLAs. So for initial response SLA, I want the SLA to start when the issue arrives to open, to do, or reopen statuses. So I'm just going to click confirm. It will appear in the start conditions box. So let's continue with the SLA end. So for the Okay, can you hear me? Önder?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So the Murphy laws is in the works again. I have disconnected, so sorry about that. Let me continue. Just 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let's go back to the time to SLA page. Start again. I'm just going to name it initial response. I'm going to select time to SLA. I'm going to select enters the relevant statuses open to do reopened. And I believe this is where we left off, the SLA end condition. So for everything is good, right? Can you hear me?
So far, good. Yeah,
Oh,
so far.
perfect. Perfect. So for the SLA end condition, I'm just going to select leaves selected statuses and the same statuses that I have selected for the SLA start will be selected here as well. So because the initial response can consist of an issue transition, I'm just going to click confirm. So I'm going to add another condition, and this is another feature that comes with the next gen SLAs. Now you can add multiple SLA conditions in your SLA definitions. So I'm going to select field value change. This is one of the exciting features and highly requested feature. Now you can use the most of the Jira system fields and custom fields that have been previously defined in your instance as the SLA conditions. So I'm going to select assignee. When you select the field, additional options will appear under the field part. So for assignee, we have a bunch of options: change, set, unset, change to a value, change from a value. I'm just going to select set. So when an issue is assigned to someone, my SLA is going to end. I'm just going to click confirm. And another option can be for the initial response SLA is the comment. So comment part didn't change. You can select any user, users from a particular group or users from a project role as your SLA end condition. I'm going to select particular project role. I'm going to select service desk team here, and I'm going to select public comments and click confirm. So my SLA start and end conditions are here. Like I said, now you can add multiple SLA end conditions. You can select Jira fields as your SLA start and end conditions. So let's continue with the SLA reset condition. So this looks quite a bit different from the legacy SLAs. For the legacy SLAs, we have three options for the SLA reset. Either you can add post functions to reset your SLAs, or you can manually reset your SLAs, or you can select field value changed option as the SLA reset condition. We have made some modifications for the reset conditions. Now you can reset your SLA when the status is changed, when a comment is made, when a date field is reached, or a field value is changed. This contains additional features that are not available for legacy SLAs, and also it has some features that is available for the legacy SLAs, but you need to configure it further, as in the case of post functions. So I'm going to reset my SLA when the field value is changed. I'm going to select assignee and select change. So in this SLA, when the assignee field is changed, the SLA will reset, and I'm going to further differentiate the behavior between the finished SLAs and the in-progress SLAs. So in-progress SLAs, running SLAs namely, will behave as in the legacy SLAs, namely the durations and will reset and SLA will restart. But for the finished SLAs, you can either do nothing or reset SLA durations and restart SLA, or reset SLA durations and invalidate or ignore the previous cycles. And in that case, your issue has to go back to the SLA start condition again in order to SLA to start. I'm just going to select reset SLA durations and restart SLA. I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to add another reset condition. So I want my SLA to reset when the priority is changed. So when priority equals to high, I want to again reset my SLA duration and restart the SLA. I'm just going to click confirm. Again, you can define multiple reset conditions for your next-gen SLAs. So for pause, again, new features. In the legacy SLAs, you can only pause your SLAs during a status. It's right here. You can, again, pause your SLA in a status, for instance, in progress, in review. This is still available, but we have added a new option here. Field value satisfies a condition. So I want to pause my SLA when the assignee belongs to a specific project role. For instance, administrators, because that means that the issue is under review in my use case. So I'm just going to click confirm. Also, I want to add another pause condition in review. I want to pause my SLA when the issue is in review status. So far we have explored the new SLA conditions, we have explored the new UI, and we have talked about the multiple, the ability to add multiple SLA conditions. I just want to note that this SLA conditions works as an OR condition, not an AND condition. So this means that any number of these conditions is satisfied, time to SLA will accept it as the overall SLA condition is satisfied. What I mean by that is that if the status is changed from open, or if the assignee is set, or a public comment by made this project role, the SLA will end. So let's continue with the goals section. So for the legacy SLAs, if your use case has same SLA conditions and different SLA goals, you need to define separate SLAs for each SLA goals. This can cause some issues in terms of numbers of SLAs growing too quickly and difficult to manage over the time. So we wanted to address that. So we have designed the new SLA goals section. Now you can define multiple goals for your SLAs that has the obviously same SLA conditions. To define a new SLA goal, you need to click Add New SLA Goal button right here. So you have, again, in terms of the scope of the SLA goal, you have two options. You can either use a JQL or you can select a priority. You can also use both of these options. So I'm just going to define a separate SLA goal for the bug issue type because the bugs are important. I'm going to select duration and I'm going to enter 2 hours as the initial response for bug issue types, and I'm going to select 24/7 calendar for this SLA goal. So as you can see, you can customize the goal type and the calendar that's used for this goal. Let's add another SLA goal. So again, for the task issue type, I'm just going to use for the medium and the high. I'm going to use the negotiation date, and I'm going to select the due date. And I'm going to enter the time offset part as the end of the day. Click OK, and I'm going to select 9 to 5 calendar. And all the remaining issues can have 8 hours as the SLA goal and use 24/7 calendar. So the goals will be executed from top to bottom, and you can change their order by just dragging and dropping them like this. The calculation method is still the same. All the options are here. The critical zone is still here. It's still the same. And the asynchronous update option is still the same. So I'm just going to click Save. And the SLA will appear right here. The initial response SLA with the ID tool. You can search between your SLAs using these icons. So let's talk about the notifiers. We have changed some things and added new features for the next-gen notifiers as well. The legacy SLAs require different SLA definitions for the same goals, and for the notifications, the same thing is applicable. If you have similar SLAs, you need to define separate notifications for them. We want to change that. So we have designed the next-gen notification feature. The enable disable button is the first thing you will see when you click add new SLA notification button right here. So we have added new triggers. Now you have 4 options: is breached, will be breached in, has been breached for, and has breached. All of these options actually is available for the legacy SLAs. We have just added the is breached option right here. This was a highly requested feature. You can also use this for the legacy SLAs. If you enter 1 minute or minus 1 minute or 0 minutes in the fixed duration box in the legacy SLA notifications, but this is so much easier to manage. The SLA goal option is still here, has been breached for. This is still available in the legacy SLAs, but you need to do some tricks in the fixed duration box. I'm just going to select is breached. The recurring notification option is still here. Enable working calendar is still here if you want to send your notifications only during working hours. So for the triggers, we have customized this part quite a bit. So you have email, Slack message, and fire an event option. And again, these were available in the legacy SLAs, but it was difficult to configure. We wanted to give our users a more accessible and easier to manage UI with the next-gen notifications. The Slack message options are still here. Fire an event option is the new addition to the UI. You can fire an event or custom event when the trigger happens, and you can publish your event in the newer style. So I'm just going to fire an issue assigned event and click save. All the details related to this SLA notification will appear here, like the trigger, the recurrence, the action, and the applied goals. So the new feature is related to goals. If you navigate to associate with goals section right here, right now you can associate your notifications to different SLA goals. This gives you the option to define different notifications for different SLA goals, and it's quite powerful. I'm just going to associate this notification just the remaining issues goal and click save, and it will be modified accordingly. So let's go back to the SLA definition. Let's go back to the SLA configurations page. So we have talked about the new next-gen SLAs features, namely the new SLA conditions, the new SLA scope options, the new SLA goal sections. These are quite powerful features, and these are all designed to make things easier, to make SLA management more easier for you. So let's conclude the demo by defining an issue. I'm just going to create an issue. I'm going to select test. Reporter is going to be me. I'm just going to select the priority as low and leave everything as is and click create. And the initial response SLA panel will be here. As you know, you can change the position of the SLA panel from time to SLA menu. So let's lastly talk about a little bit about the performance of the next-gen SLAs. So the legacy SLAs works like this. Time to SLA listens all issue events and any changes in the issue. And if a relevant change happens, we look at the history tab, look at the SLA definition, and make SLA calculations. This only SLA calculation takes a fraction of a second, but with every change, we have to examine the issue history from the beginning. We wanted to change this SLA calculation mechanism, and with next-gen SLAs, we have changed it to incremental calculation mechanism, which means that when a change happens in your issues, time to SLA resume its calculation where it left off, and this comes with the added bonus of improved performance. Our tests indicate that next-gen SLAs perform significantly better, 3 times better than the legacy SLAs, which makes them a perfect fit for the large instances and data center deployments. Also, if you have large issue histories, we highly recommend switching to next-gen SLAs as they perform better. So this is all for the demo. What's next for the next-gen SLAs? So right now we are working on the SLA history timeline feature, which will be right here in the activity tab, and it will show all the significant SLA events, namely the SLA start, the SLA end, the critical zone moment as a timeline with the SLA durations, and this will provide significant information about the SLAs, and you can track the life cycle of your SLAs so much easier. It will likely be released with the next version, but don't quote me on that. I'm not making any promises. This is all subject to change, but the next big feature will be the SLA history feature. So I'm just going to stop right here, stop the screen share, and go back to the presentation. And take a moment to look at the questions. So we have quite a bit of questions right here. So the first question is, let me enable the Q&A feature. So, is it possible to migrate all SLA configured in my instance to next-gen SLA? Right now, it's not possible, but we are working on a migration mechanism, and it will be released with the upcoming versions. And with that, you will automatically convert your legacy SLAs to next-gen SLAs, and it will be easier. But right now, you have to manually define the next-gen SLAs.
But it's on the pipeline.
Yeah, it's on the pipeline. It's coming. Likely, it will be released after the SLA timeline feature.
Great to hear. Thank you.
The next question, does it work in Jira Cloud? Right now, no, it's not working in Jira Cloud, but we have started the work in the Jira Cloud, and it will be available in the Jira Cloud. We are starting to work on that. We have every intention to make it available in the Jira Cloud.
So
I can't give you,
not
yet.
Yeah.
Not yet, but I can't give a definite timeline, but we are working very hard on it, and it's one of our priorities. Another question, can you send email to users in a project role for notifications? Yes, you can. You just need to select the email option, and the recipients will be available in the drop-down menu after your selection. You can send the notifications to particular users, to project roles, to groups, to group picker fields, to user picker fields. Anything is possible with the notifications. Another question is similar to first question. We have lots of SLAs, how we migrate our legacy SLAs to next gen. The migration feature is coming. It's in the works. We have been working on it quite a while, so it will be available. It's on the pipeline. Another question, would that SLA history feature be reportable in future? I don't know, quite likely, but I can't say for sure. Let me check that. And if you send an email to me, gökçe@snapwise.com or önder@snapwise.com, I will talk to the development team and get back to you. But we can take it as a feature request too.
Definitely.
I couldn't hear you, Önder.
Sorry, it's a great question. Yeah, it's rightly so. It's pretty important.
Yeah. The condition works as an and on as an or. It works as an or condition. Another question, field change condition applies to custom fields as well. Yes, they apply to the custom fields as well? Another question, maybe I can see the questions. Binit reporting on update time SLA is basically every instance when the customer responds back, this SLA starts and it stops when agent replies back. So can we have reporting for every instance for above scenario? Not yet, but we have a backlog item for this to differentiate between the SLA cycles, and maybe we can just implement it in the SLA timeline feature after it's released. So let me take this as a feature request and pass it on to the development team. I'm sure they can come up with a solution. Another question. The TTS fields still work the same? Yes, they are still work the same. The SLA panel is still live. The time to SLA custom field is still here. They are still available. We didn't make any changes. Another question, what's the impact to the REST API? This is a good one. I think the REST API for the next gen SLA is not available, but we have a backlog item for it and we are working on it. Also, we will provide a TTS API to our customers, most likely, so that you can just write your scripts easier. But it's in the works. We have a backlog item for it. We will release the REST APIs for the next gen SLAs as well. Another question, does export import work? Right, for the next gen SLAs right now, no, they don't work. But again, it's scheduled, it's in the works. We will release it in the upcoming months. Most likely, maybe, this is my speculation, maybe the legacy SLA migration feature will work through the export import feature. So it's most definitely will be released for the next gen SLAs as well. Is this applicable to custom fields as well? Yes, it's applicable. So this covers all the questions. Oh, another. I want to see start and statuses in the main SLA page. Do you have it in your roadmap? As this way we can only see the JCal, which is not helping much. This is a very good question. Actually, I believe we are towards the end of this development and we will release it with the next version. And with that, you can see the SLA start and end conditions in the next gen SLAs menu as well, as along with the JCal conditions. Another one, do you recommend to change next-gen SLA on a big data center instance with lots of SLA definitions? Most definitely. Do it like yesterday. Right now, they perform so much better. They're easier to manage. They scale easier compared to legacy SLAs. You will significantly reduce the number of your SLAs, and the SLA management will become so much easier. Quite a lot of questions, actually. I'm surprised. Let's give it another minute. if another question comes. Another one. The asynchronous SLA still work in the next gen? Yes, it still works. It's available towards the bottom of the SLA configuration menu. Oh, another good question. In next gen, will we have option to configure select fields related to other plugins? I'm not quite sure actually. But if it's not available, we can take it as a feature request, and I can talk to the development team about this. You can open a ticket in our customer portal with the specific plugin fields that you want to see in the next-gen definitions, and we can go from there. After changing SLA to next-gen SLA, do we have to regenerate the issues? Yes. Basically, you just made a new SLA definition, and you need to regenerate the SLAs to start the SLA calculation. But with the migration from legacy SLAs to next-gen SLAs, maybe this process can be automated. I'm not quite sure. Again, I will talk to the dev team and get back to you. So our ultimate goal, by the way, is to sunset the legacy SLAs feature and migrate all of our customers' SLAs to next-gen SLAs. But it's like the last phases of the next-gen SLA journey, and we will release all the necessary features before that, so that when the sunset time arrives, you will have every feature available to you, every export import feature, for instance, every migration, automatic migration features will be available to you. But the ultimate milestone in the next-gen SLA journey will be sunsetting the legacy SLAs feature. Okay. So this was a very nice webinar. I'm just going to mute myself and leave the microphone to Önder for closing remarks. Thank you so much for attending the webinar.
Gökçe, thank you very much for your wonderful and impressive demonstration. As we can see, we are keeping all the goodness from the legacy SLA, and we are adding more and more features on top of it. So it's brilliant. And on top of that, your questions, your feedback, they are invaluable for us. They are really, important for us. So thanks very much for your attendance and for your contribution. I hope to see you again for the upcoming webinars. Thank you very much for your time. Hope to see you again. Bye.